Alright, in my last video, I showed you how to make this floating effect, but I didn't really show you how I got to this edit. And so in this video, I'm going to show you how I did that. So first, I usually always get the S-curve, and then bring up the darkness. It just makes a little that faded look. I like it. And then I always bring up the contrast, because it makes the whites whiter and the darks darker. And I always bring down the highlights because sometimes the whites get too clipped out, and so I try to bring that down a bit. And the shadows go up just to give a more faded look again, kind of like a movie look. And I bring down the whites for the same reason I bring down the highlights. And now usually everyone brings up the blacks, but I like to bring them down. I don't know, I just like to bring up the shadows and bring down the blacks. It's counterintuitive, but that's just me. And then going on to the color side, I saw somewhere that you should always bring up the vibrance and bring down the saturation. I don't really know what that does, but it just feels right. I don't know, it just looks good. And then we're gonna go into mix. And I usually only touch the greens and oranges unless I'm taking pictures of the sky. And then so we're gonna bring the green to the orange side because if it looks green, it looks unnatural and just looks weird. I don't know. And then we're gonna bring down the saturation. That looks good. And then we're gonna bring down the saturation. Just looks nice. And bring down the darkness. And as you can see right now, it already looks pretty good. And now we're gonna look at the skin tone right now. And you see how I look just a little bit like white, or like just, it looks like I have no blood in my skin. And so I'm gonna go into oranges, and you see if I go to green, it looks weird. And so I'm just gonna make me look a little bit red. Not too much, but just enough so that it looks like my skin is like flush and it looks like I have blood and I look healthy. And see how my skin looks way much better than it did before? That's why we do that. We're gonna go into grading, and this is actually something that Lightroom just added recently, and I actually love it instead of what we used to have. And so we're gonna make the shadows just a little bit greener, and because the shadows are going to the green side, we're gonna want the highlights to go in the opposite direction just a little bit. It just helps balance everything out. And going into effect, we're gonna make that clarity go up a bit. It just makes it look good, not too much and not too little. We're just gonna go up a bit. It just gives it that, I don't know, that moody, more good effect. And the same thing with the texture. It is also something that Lightroom just added, and it just makes things that have texture more textury, like a fence. And then we're gonna make that vignette go up a bit, not too much, just a little bit. And yeah, that's it. And if you like this type of content and you want to see more, make sure to like and subscribe, and that'll let me know to make more of this type of video.